Glazier. Let's see here. Brian, your client's in jail, but John's client is Glazier. Hold on, we have feedback. John Glazier, where are you at? Hopkins. Mr. Hopkins is in my waiting room. So let me get Mr. Hopkins. Mr. Hopkins, can you hear me?
Yep.
Excellent. All right, this is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Christopher Nicholas Hopkins. File number 23-21228FH. I have John Glazier appearing on behalf of Mr. Hopkins, and I have Isaac Sneed appearing on behalf of the people. This is the date and time set for arraignment in this matter. Mr. Glazier, do you wish to waive the reading of the felony information?
Yes, Your Honor, we'd waive the reading of the felony information, acknowledge receipt of that as well as the attached witness list and prosecutor's request for discovery. At this time, my client will enter a plea of not guilty, Your Honor. We'd ask for a pretrial to be set a little ways. Give me time to talk to the prosecutor.
All right, I have April 12 at 8:30 in the morning.
That'd be fine. Isaac, who is this assigned to? Do you know?
Alexander Bayonetto? No.
Give me 1 second.
I have Alexander Bayonetto sign the felony information, but I don't know if that means anything.
That's correct, Judge.
All right. So it's Alexander Bayonetto. So, all right, Mr. Hopkins, write it down. We'll be back on April 12th at 8:30 in the morning via Zoom, or we are open, so you're more than welcome to come in for pre-trial. And I'll enter a plea of not guilty on behalf of Mr. Hopkins.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Hopkins.
Thank you.
All right. Roberts Van Horn. Ms. Van Duzen, I have John Roberts.
Yes, Your Honor. I will need a quick breakout room with him.
Okay. And Mr. Malaro, I have Mr. Van Horn too. So, Mr. Roberts, can you hear me?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, this is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus John Christopher Roberts, file number 22-20906FH. I have Dawn Van Duzen appearing on behalf of Mr. Roberts, and I have Isaac Sneed appearing on behalf of the people. This is the date and time set for pretrial. So, Ms. Van Duzen, you have asked for a breakout room. So let me get that. So I am going to assign you and Mr. Roberts to a breakout room. So you're going to get an invitation to join that breakout room. Go ahead and join. Mr. Malaro, I do have Mr. Van Horn. I think Mr. Malaro probably ran away. He's been waiting a long time.
I'm here, Judge.
Okay, I'm just waiting for Mr. Van Horn to connect. Mr. Van Horn, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, this is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Robert Lawrence Van Horn, file number 22-20906FH. I have Salvatore Malaro appearing on behalf of Mr. Van Horn, and I have Isaac Sneed appearing on behalf of the people. This is a date and time set for a pretrial in this matter. I show one, I do not have fingerprints. Mr. Van Horn, were you able to contact the Michigan State Police for fingerprints?
Yes. Yes,
Did you get them
ma'am.
done?
They told me they had already collected them through the district court.
Okay, we'll keep trying to track them down. Now, the plea offer that I had in this file was to plead to count plead to 2 attempted somethings, no upfront jail, no objection to 7411. I don't know if that's changed. Mr. Malaro, how do you wish to proceed today? Do you need a breakout room?
Yeah, if I could, Judge.
Okay, so
Not too much, not too long.
Mr. Van Horn, I'm going to assign you and Mr. Malaro to a breakout room, and then we're gonna take about 4-minute recess.
Okay.
All right.
You can be seated. I'm gonna try to see if my Polycom connects yet. Hey, Becky, I think I broke it. No, I can't get, so I turned this off? No, I can't get to turn it. So. All right, Mr. Roberts, all right, that is John Van Duzen. And Mr. Malawi, you want me to close that breakout room?
If you would, Judge.
All right, Miss Van Duzen, we are back in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus John Christopher Roberts, file number 22-20906FH. Miss Van Duzen, how do you wish to proceed today?
Your Honor, I have a quick question to clarify for Mr. Roberts. He's qualified for drug court. And do they meet twice a month, or does he meet with the probation officer one time and then the next time is the drug court?
So my understanding is that we meet twice a month on Thursdays, but it's kind of an all-day thing for them because they do their treatment, counseling. So in the beginning, it's pretty time intensive. I guess why is he asking?
For job purposes. His job
Well,
will be from 8 to 4:30.
He would have to miss work. So for drug court, the main requirement is drug court. So if your employer won't work around it, then you get a different employer.
I just accepted the job. It starts February 20th. I don't get any vacation time until 30 days after.
So,
the 20th.
Mr. Roberts, drug court is for purposes of people that have an addiction. So people that have an addiction, the most important focus is the addiction, not their job, not anything else. So to be a member of drug court, you would have to miss that because, you don't, and I don't know what your issues are, but with most addicts, until they fix themselves, their job and, the family requirements are the least important because until you can fix the addiction, you're not much of a good family member or an employee anyway. So drug court is intensive and it does require that. So, and I don't know.
I have been sober for 2 months now. So, I actually started attending meetings 2 months ago.
I'm not going to go into it with you because I don't know. You can talk to Miss Teskey. Have you been screened?
For
Yes.
drug court?
Yes,
Yeah.
and he's approved.
Yeah.
Okay, so you could talk to Miss Teskey, but those are requirements. Like you would have to be present in court, like at least every other Thursday. And there's counseling and daily. I mean, there's a lot of requirements, especially in phase 1. So did Miss Teskey review all that with you?
No, I literally got the paperwork from Mr. Murphy. He gave me paperwork to read over, but Miss Teskey, I have not spoken to. I don't even know who Miss Teskey is.
Did you talk to a Teresa?
No, I talked to a lady at Catholic Charities. That's it. I've not. I don't know who any of these other people are.
Okay. Hold on a second. Mr. Moore, you're not in office, so I don't know if you've been screened or I don't know. It seems weird that I don't know.
I got screened by somebody at Catholic Charities after I was released in June.
Okay, so yeah, you'd be required to miss at least 1 day of work a week, maybe. I don't know. I only know what I do on the days they're in court with me. Mr. Sneed is our prosecutor, but I don't know if you have any more information than I do. I know that on the Thursdays that we have drug court, you're pretty much here all morning. So I don't know what they do on the weeks we're not in court. But I know that it's daily meetings, daily counseling, treatment. I mean, it's pretty time intensive. People work. They just have to find a job that works around the schedule of drug court.
Right.
And then every phase gets easier. So. I don't know.
Okay. And then I know. Can I talk to Miss Van Dusen one more time, real quick, then?
Yeah. I don't know if Miss Teskey is in the office today. I don't think she is. Okay. I mean, we can set this over for him to.
The question I have and it would be with Mr. Sneed, would be, if he was, I know the plea agreement was if he accepted drug court, he would get attempted, he could plead to attempted delayed. But if he did not do the drug court, it would just be attempted. Is that correct?
Let me take a look at the file.
Yeah, I know why he's looking at the file. Can I just have a breakout room with Mr. Roberts real quick?
Yeah, and Mr. Sneed, you'll text Miss Van Duzen then?
Yeah, it's an attempt with a delayed. There's no condition for drug court.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna open up that breakout room again. Mr. Malaro. Give me a minute. Mr. Malaro, can you hear me? Mr. Sneed, can you hear me?
I can hear
Yes,
you,
I can.
Judge.
Yeah, Polycom's working. All right. As always, just turn it off and turn it back on. All right, Mr. Roberts, did you get an
Yes.
invitation to the breakout room? Go ahead and join that.
I don't think I have an invite yet.
You should. On the bottom of your device, does it say breakout room?
No, nothing says breakout room, Your Honor.
All right, I'm gonna close it and then I'll open it up again.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Sue, is that better?
Yep, I can hear everything.
All right, Mr. Malaro, he couldn't find his invitation. So there we go. Did you get an invitation?
Why am I going to a breakout, Judge?
It's Miss
Oh,
Van Duzen.
wait. Miss Van Duzen, I meant cancel. All right, there he goes. Miss Van Duzen, there he goes. All right. All right, back on the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Robert Lawrence Van Horn, file number 22-20925FH. So, Mr. Malaro, you had a chance to speak with Mr. Van Horn.
I did, Judge.
All right, and how do you want to proceed today with Mr. Van Horn?
So, Judge, if the court would be pleased with this, Mr. Van Horn, if the court recalls, is in counseling of his own volition. He's doing very well. We got a December report. I would like to adjourn this one more time and talk to the prosecutors about a resolution, which we would ask to get a better resolution than what's on the table.
All right,
So
so
that
the
would be my
option,
request.
okay. Okay, so I need to set a trial date too, though, because it's the third pre-trial, so. All right, so I can set another pre-trial or March 8th at 8:30 in the morning. I'm going to set so this is a possession of methamphetamine carrying a concealed. So I think what, a 1-day jury trial?
Yeah, Sean.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so I will set this for March 14th. Is that not a good day, Mr. Malone?
Any day but Thursday, Judge.
Okay, I'll set it for trial on March 14th, 23 at 9 a.m. That'll be for 1 day. And as I said, pre-trial would be, did I say March 8th? Yep, March 8th pre-trial. I will do March 10 for motion deadline, as well as what your questions and jury instructions, case specific. So the pretrial March 8th can be via Zoom, but sir, understand the trial date would be in person. So you would have to come in person. And I pulled out a scheduling order, so you won't need to do the stiff order, Mr. Malaro. And we will get a copy of that out to everybody. Is there anything else we need to address on the record today, Mr. Malaro?
No, Your Honor.
Right, we will get that out to everybody. Thank you, Mr. Van Horn. Thank you, Mr. Malaro.
Thank you,
Thank
Judge.
you, ma'am.
Okay, so Mr. Van Horn, you can go ahead and disconnect. All right, so we're back on the
Okay.
record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus John Roberts. So Ms. Van Duzen, how do you wish to proceed today?
He's going to plead guilty to the offer of, but I think I need an amended complaint. I don't know if the court has one on file.
I don't, but it would be an added count to attempted embezzlement, agent or trustee, 1,000 or more, but less than 20. So is that a 2.5-year felony, Mr. Sneed?
Yes, it is, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, and then Mr. Roberts, what'll happen is Ms. Teskey will be assigned to do your pre-sentence report. Or not, but they'll be able to give you more information about drug court, and then you can make a different decision if you want. All right.
I thought that I just made a different decision with Ms. Van Dusen, Your Honor.
I don't know.
Mr.
She hasn't
Roberts.
communicated that with me, so.
Mr. Roberts, she's just giving you an opportunity to discuss it with Ms. Teskey, and if you would
Oh,
like
okay.
something different than at sentencing, then you can enter the program. It's not mandatory that you have to do it.
Oh,
So,
okay, thank you.
Your
Ms.
Honor,
Van
I'd like to
Dusen.
put on the record that this is with a delayed sentence.
Okay. All right. Mr. Roberts, I will warn you though, that if you drop dirty at some point on your delayed sentence, then you will be sent to a rehab facility, so. All right.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
So he's gonna plead guilty to count 2 under delayed. Okay. So anything else, Mr. Sneed, to add to that?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
So Mr. Roberts, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you state your full name for the record?
John Christopher Roberts.
All right, so sir, you heard the statement of your attorney and the prosecuting attorney. Is it your intention to plead guilty to count 2 attempted embezzlement, agent or trustee, 1,000 or more, but less than 20,000, which carries a maximum penalty of up to 5 years in prison and or a $10,000 fine, or 3 times the amount embezzled, whichever is greater. Now, Mr. Sneed, you'll provide the amended information today.
Yes, Your Honor. We'll submit that this morning.
All right, so is it your intention to plead guilty to that, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with Ms. Van Dusen as your attorney and the advice that she has given you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Neither the prosecutor, the defendant, nor anyone on the defendant's behalf has discussed a possible sentence with court other than the agreement between the prosecutor and the defense counsel that it would be under a delayed sentence. Is that correct, Mr.? Let's see. I go by P number and I don't know who has an older P number on this. So I'll go with S because it comes before B. So Mr. Sneed, is that correct?
Yes, and mine's older. Thank you.
Okay, and Ms. Van Dusen, is that correct as far as you're aware?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Roberts, you as well?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, if a guilty plea is accepted, there will be no trial. This means that you will be giving up rights you would have had at trial. I'm going to explain those rights to you now to make sure that you understand them. You have a right to a speedy public trial by jury. You may ask for a non-jury trial, and if the prosecutor and court agree, you can have a non-jury trial. You have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to have the prosecuting attorney prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you are guilty, and you do not have to prove anything. You have the right to be present at trial and have witnesses against you appear at your trial and to ask those witnesses questions. You have the right to have the court order any witnesses you have for your defense to appear at the trial. You have the right to remain silent during your trial and not to have your silence used against you. However, you also have the right to testify at your trial if you want to testify. Mr. Roberts, do you understand that if your plea is accepted, you may be giving up the right to appeal issues that would otherwise be appealable if you were convicted at trial? Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that any appeal from the conviction and sentence pursuant to the plea will be by application for leave to appeal and not by right?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you are not a citizen of the United States of America, a conviction of a crime may result in deportation, exclusion from admission to the United States of America, or denial of naturalization. Mr. Roberts, do you have any questions about the rights that I've given to you?
No, Your Honor.
All right, so sir, how do you wish to plead to the charge that on or about December 7th of 2020 in the city of Morenci in the county of Lenawee, that you did commit the offense of attempted embezzlement, agent or trustee, $1,000 or more, but less than $20,000. Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Has anyone made any threats or promises to you to induce you to plead guilty to this charge?
No, Your Honor.
Do you understand that if I accept this plea, you will be giving up any and all claims that your plea is given as a result of promises or threats that were not disclosed to the court on the record during this hearing, or that it was not your own choice to enter the plea? Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is the prosecutor or defense counsel aware of any promises or threats or inducements other than the plea bargain to induce the defendant to plead guilty? Mr. Steen?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Ms. Van Duzen?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Roberts, has your sentence, or has your attorney promised you any particular sentence or estimated what your sentence will be other than what was placed on the record?
No, Your Honor.
Is it your own choice to plead guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so, Mr. Roberts, on December 7th of 2020, were you in the city of Morenci in the county of Lenawee?
Yes, Your Honor.
And at that time, were you employed by Dollar General?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you attempt to, was it money, items? What was it, Ms. Van Duzen?
It was bottles, Your Honor. It was bottle return slips.
Okay, did you, without permission of your employer, were you taking bottle return slips and cashing them out?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and you had no right to do that as part of your employment?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and did you get the money from those?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you were able to do that because you were an employee there, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
And what do you think the value of the money you got was?
Not entirely. I know that I was given a paper with the amount. I don't recall what it was.
Mr. Sneed or Ms. Van Duzen?
It was over $1,000.
We'll stipulate to that, Judge.
Okay, well, just for rest, okay. All right, and would you agree it was
Um,
over $1,000, Mr. Roberts?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, if I could interject, the total from the police report states $3,250.
So, Mr. Roberts, would you agree that that's the amount, sum total, you probably took in bottle receipts from Dollar General?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, has court complied with MCR 6.302 B, C, and D, Mr. Steen
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
and Ms. Van Duzen?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I accept the plea. It has been given understandably, voluntarily, and accurately. The defendant has full knowledge of his rights. he does have competent counsel. This court has made no agreement regarding the possibility of a plea or possible sentence. In this case, with the prosecutor, the defense attorney, the defendant, or anyone acting in the interest of either of them. I'm going to refer this matter to the probation department for a pre-sentence investigation. I'm going to set sentencing for March 17th of 2023 at 8:15 in the morning. Now, sir, this is under a delayed sentence. So what you will do is today I'm going to put you in a breakout room with Mr. Moore from the Michigan Department of Corrections. He's going to give you instruction on how to contact them, when to meet with them, and what you need to do. When you meet with the Michigan Department of Corrections, I need you to be truthful about your background and also the events that occurred. They'll prepare a pre-sentence report. We'll provide that to Ms. Van Duzen. Ms. Van Duzen will review that with you prior to sentencing on March 17th of 2023. Now that's basically kind of a review sentencing because I will sentence you to a delayed sentence. And during that time period, my pretrial services coordinator will be monitoring your conditions and then we'll give you another date, probably then in December, okay?
Okay, Your Honor.
When you meet with Mr. Moore or whoever you're assigned to, make sure you're truthful with them about your background and the events that occurred. Now, Mr. Roberts, do you have any objection to appearing via Zoom for that sentencing on March 17th?
No, Your Honor.
All right, so that'll be via Zoom. Mr. Moore, I am going to assign you and Mr. Roberts to a breakout room. Once you're done talking to Mr. Moore, you can disconnect, Mr. Roberts. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Could Miss Adams, the jail hasn't brought me anybody else. How about Darren Baker?
Okay.
And tell them they just can keep bringing them in. Mr. Roberts, did you get that invitation?
I did, I accepted it and it came back to the main.
Okay, hold on, I'm gonna do it again. All right, I'm gonna open it again. Sorry, Mr. Moore, he wasn't able to get in. All right, here we go again.
It just keeps coming back to your courtroom, Your Honor.
That's interesting. So hold on a second. Try it again. All right, he's in jail, he's in jail, jail. How about James Steely? Is there James Steely in here? Mr. Malaro, you have one person not in jail. Mr. Seeley, do you have Mr. Seeley?
That's because he's in prison.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh.
Mr. Seeley is in prison?
Yes.
Well, then.
So
Hold
please
on.
don't issue an absconding warrant.
Who do I got at the jail? Mr. Baker? Okay, there you go. Have a seat. All right, so I show people's writ of habeas corpus dated November 16th of 2022. So the last writ I have is for December. I do not have a writ for today in my file. I mean, it may be in the clerk's office, but I don't have one in my file for Mr. Seeley.
Okay.
So, Mr. Sneed, do you want me to just set it out for another pretrial?
Yes, Your Honor.
I have it here.
Mr. Baker, just sit down, Mr. Baker. Mr. Baker,
Have a seat.
Mr. Baker, sit down. You stay right there.
want to
Just stay. Don't touch anything.
That's the judge. Just listen, okay?
Stay there. Don't talk right now. So I'm gonna set Mr. Seeley for March 8th at 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Sneed, you'll let them know over there.
Oh, well, Josh.
Judge, can I put the plea offer on the record, though, for the record on this case?
Yeah,
He's not
file
here.
number 22, he's not here. But he wants to clarify it. So 22-211-22, wait, 22-211-21 FH, Isaac Sneed appearing on behalf of the people, Salvatore Malaro appearing on behalf of Mr. Seeley, although he's not here. So what do you believe the plea offer is?
Judge, my understanding of the plea offers that Mr. Seeley would plead guilty to counts 3 and count 6, the remaining counts and any habituals or supplements would be dismissed at sentencing. If that's confirmed, I can send him a letter so that we can be ready to go when he is brought into court.
Is that the plea offer, Mr. Sneed?
I just would know, Miss Muir's notes say count 3 and count 7, not count 6.
Oh, she told me count 6 yesterday. But let me look at what's
Hold on.
6, 7, 7.
It's the same. Both of them
Okay.
are CSC 4th degree.
Yeah, then that's fine, Judge. Either 7 and 6, if they're both the same, it doesn't matter.
All right, we'll do 7. Okay. All right, so we'll see you back on that next day. And Mr. One of you get to do the stipend order. So
What's the new date, Judge?
March 8th at, I think that's what it said, March 8th at 8:30 in the morning.
That's fine, Judge. I'll send them a letter and we should be good to go.
Okay. All right, who's doing the stipend order?
We'll do it.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Baker, let me get your file. So, all right, this is in the matter of Darren Baker. We have multiple files, 22-20898 FH, 22-20899 FH, and 22-20900 FH. I have Dawn Van Duzen appearing on behalf of Mr. Baker. And I have Isaac Sneed appearing on behalf of the people. So Ms. Van Duzen, I know there was some communications between you and Mr. Sneed and then my office regarding Mr. Baker. How do you wish to proceed today?
Your Honor, in this matter, after actually talking to Mr. Baker, Mr. Baker had a head injury and he's in a adult home. And I think his social worker, either Jenny or Francine, might be there today.
She's
And
Francine.
Francine, okay,
What's your
and
name? Go ahead, Dawn.
okay, and they said that he could come back there and would like the condition that there's no alcohol or assaultive behavior. I'm still working out a plea deal. I don't know if I could actually.
Hold on a second, Ms. Van Duzen, if you could stop for a moment. You want to come up to the podium? All right. So, ma'am, hold on, Mr. Baker, just be quiet for 1 minute. So, could you first state your name for the record?
Francine Zisk, ZYSK,
And you are employed with?
Lenawee Community Mental Health.
And what working relationship do you have with Mr. Baker?
I'm the program director and so of the adult MI, and I supervise his case manager that deals with them.
Okay, now Ms. Van Duzen said that she believes the group home would take him back and you shook your head no.
Well, because the group home that he was in, that he left, that bed is not available. So we would have to place him somewhere. There isn't a promise that he could go back to that same group home because there's not a place available for him. We're in the process of, we really wanted to work with, he has an SSI hearing and that had to be canceled because he was incarcerated. So we need to work that out as well. So there's a lot of playing factors. So we're here just to see what is going to happen next in regard to his bond.
Is there a bed available to him somewhere?
We could look really hard to find that if we knew that was a possibility. We're just kind of on hold to wait to see what's going to happen.
Okay, so the facility who was at, there's not a bed available, but they may be able to find a bed
Yes.
in another facility.
Absolutely.
All right, Ms. Van Duzen.
I'd ask, at this time, just to set for another pretrial. the offer that I do not think that Mr. Baker could even put the elements on record for one. But number two, I don't even think the elements could even be met on them, to the fact that for intentional purposes. But I'm asking the court to allow a bond where if they could find it, that he'd be released to it.
Okay, so you're asking for another pretrial, and then you're asking for a bond that would allow him to be released to an adult foster care home when a bed becomes available.
Correct.
Ma'am?
Your Honor, the last time we were here last year before we found him a home, it was this understanding of CMH that we were to work on that. And once we had a place available that we could do a behavior plan, we would come back in front of Your Honor and present that plan. So then you could modify the bond conditions.
So typically all I would need is for you to get a hold of Miss Van Duzen, and she could talk to Mr. Sneed, and they would stipulate to me, they would be able to do a document just granting that.
So you like CMH to pursue that avenue?
Mr. Sneed, what is your position on an AFC home for him?
Your Honor, I would have to defer to the court. I mean, Mr. Baker commits violent crimes when he's in AFC homes. The city police need a break from Mr. Baker. The court can see how many resisting and obstructings he has pending. That doesn't include his history of assaultive behavior as well as fighting with police. So, I think I'd ask the court to consider that in assessing any bond condition here.
Your Honor, if I could speak to when he was in the AFC home the last time, the interaction that he had with the police department was because he left the home to consume alcohol. He did not have any behavioral issues when he was in that home. He actually was taken to a inpatient facility for his alcohol use and suffered from a severe depressive state. However, he was not combative or assaultive to any of the other consumers, nor the police department. He came home, when they brought him back from the home after he consumed alcohol, there wasn't any altercation. And I've reviewed those police reports to get a behavior incident, but it was only for his use of alcohol.
So, but we have no way of stopping him from leaving the home and consuming alcohol.
We do not.
Unless it's part of his bond.
But it's always been a part of his bond.
And the issue before, Your Honor, is it wasn't noted and entered into lien. So we had to come back to the court and have that entered, and there was 2 incidents that occurred.
And the homes that you work with are located in?
This was Riverside and Adrian, yes. The other one would be in the Lenawee area. However, due to his issues that he needs assistance with, Adrian is a more conducive environment for him. And especially because he doesn't drive, so it would depend on CMH to get him to his appointments.
And he'd be able to come and go during the day from the AFC home, as at least that's right.
That is correct, but his behavior plan was very strict in order to, he had to have somebody accompany with him. And we worked with the home to have a very strict behavior plan, that they had to attend AA with him, that they would drop him off and he would go to that location.
So if I were to put bond conditions in place that he were not to leave the AFC home unsupervised and not to consume alcohol, if he violates that, I just put him back in jail, correct?
That would be correct. If it was entered into lien, they could do that quickly. Last time there was a little mishap that it wasn't entered into lien, so.
So Mr. Sneed, with those conditions?
Again, Your Honor, I'm not going to consent to any conditions, but I defer to the court.
Okay. So at the end of the day, though, we're Miss Van Duzen, scheduling wise, your concern is that he's not going to be able to knowingly enter a plea. So Do you want another pretrial? Do you want a trial date? What do you want?
I would like a
Schedule.
trial date, Your Honor.
Ma'am,
Yes, Mr.
Ma'am?
Baker? Yep.
I wanted to talk to my defendant for a minute.
Ms. Van Dusen?
I talked to you yesterday, Mr. Baker. We're trying to get you a bed so that you can get out, remember?
Okay, all right. I'm just confused that, I'm trying to get a plea agreement and a PR. Okay.
We
I
know.
miss my mom and everything.
Okay, all right, so he is charged on each of these files. Gross assault, so we would set the oldest case for trial first, right, Ms. Van Dusen?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yeah, if I could interject, Your Honor, there is a pending criminal responsibility exam that is to occur. It has been ordered.
Would your staff be able to transport him to, if necessary, to the forensic center in Saline?
I think, Your Honor,
If we're
excuse me, I
allowed-
think they're doing them all by Zoom.
That doesn't seem very conducive to me for psychological exams. But, okay,
It would
That's how
be
they're
very
doing the
difficult for
competency.
it'll be
him.
Zoom.
Yeah, it'd be very difficult by Zoom for him to answer.
And he also, because of his disability, it would be very difficult for him to do it via Zoom according to his casework.
I understand that, Your Honor, but that's how his forensic was done. His competency was done by Zoom from the jail.
Is he down?
Pretty much not, we haven't been able to get him in to do that, but he can hear maybe 15%, and unless he sees exactly, he can read lips well, but not to the point where you can understand for competency.
So
In my opinion.
Ms. Van Dusen, you may want to look into an ADA issue where maybe by not doing it in person could be a violation of American Disability Act because of his inability.
I agree, Your Honor, and I just, my
But
understanding is.
Ms. McGrain is our ADA liaison, so perhaps you might want to contact her about him. All right,
Your Honor, can I ask a question since everybody is here? Is it a possibility if we pursue a locked facility as opposed to one that he can leave freely? Okay, thank you.
all right, so Mr. Baker, listen to me. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you see me?
Yeah, okay, what you said, ma'am? Yeah,
All
I'm,
right. So I'm going to release you on a PR bond, so
all right,
but we have to find a bed. Once we have a bed, you will be released to a facility.
okay. So you gotta find a bed?
Say it again?
Yeah,
Okay, but Mr.
So-
Baker, you're not gonna be allowed to leave without someone with you. Do you understand?
okay. Can I talk to my lawyer for a minute?
Let me set these dates and then I'll let you talk to her. So give me a minute, Mr. Baker. All right, so we're still waiting on the criminal responsibility, Ms. Van Dusen. I don't want to set a trial date yet.
I gotta find a bed.
So I'm gonna set a pretrial date for April 12th of 23 at 8:30 in the morning. Ms. Adams will amend the bond conditions to allow him to be released to a facility where it's either a lockdown facility or if not, a facility where he is not allowed to leave without having a supervisor with him or someone with him, and not to consume alcohol or engage in any assaultive or threatening behavior. So I did the scheduling. I did the scheduling order already, Miss Van Duzen, so you don't need to do this different order. All right,
So am I good, Mel?
yes,
Am I, I just wanna know because it's a lot of talking going on. Am I getting out or no?
when we can find a bed at a house for you, you will get out. But you're gonna stay in jail until we have a place for you to go, all right?
So I gotta stay in jail?
Until we get a bed.
Wow.
We have to have a place for you to go. Here you go. All right.
Wow.
All right, so Mr. Baker, Ms. Van Duzen, it's my only jail window I've got right now, and everybody I've got is lined up in jail. Will you be able to talk to him later?
I will, Your Honor.
On a bed.
So, Mr. Baker, you're all set. Ms. Van Duzen will talk to you later, okay?
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you, Your Honor.
thank you. And we'll change those bond conditions. Thank you. Thank you.
Don, can I talk to you for a minute before I leave?
No, she'll call you later. You need to go on back. I need to take the next person. Rhonda, you need to shut your blinds. You look like one of those statues or paintings with the little thing above your head, like a saint or something. All right, I got nobody. I got Donald Hawkins, but I lost David Goldstein. Miss McGrain, is Mr. Goldstein down in front of Judge O'Saver?
Judge, I'm in your Zoom, so I'm not sure.
Can somebody email him and just let him know he's here?
I told him I was here.
Oh, okay, you texted him? Okay.
I have my grandma waiting outside. Because, like, you guys gonna offer me a plea, I'm gonna deny it. I wanna go to trial. I'm sick of coming in.
Well, I haven't called your case, so I don't want to put anything on the record. You know, you were here, so if you want to leave, I can take your case from Mr. Goldstein's here without you.
Okay. That works.
Because you've got an attorney, you were here, that's all I needed.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. So I have left Zachary Ladd, Christina Morgan, Caleb Anderson, Jeffrey Elliott, John Gonzalez, Joel Orozco, and Miss Underwood. Miss Bevere was picked up last night.
No comment. No comment, Your Honor.
We're waiting for the third one you just named, Caleb.
Well, I don't know which order they'll bring them in. But it's always on Zoom or YouTube, so you can always watch on YouTube.
I know, we'd rather be right here.
If they can bring Caleb Anderson, that would be great, Becky.
Don't do that out here. Hi, Mr. Orozco, how are you? All right, hold on, let me grab all your files. This is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Joel Jesus Orozco, file number 21-20645 FH, 22-21150 FH, 22-21151 FH, 22-21187 FH, and 23-21209 FH. I have Ms. Van Duzen, right, appearing on behalf of Mr. Orozco, and I have Isaac Sneed appearing on behalf of the people. So, Ms. Van Duzen, how do you wish to proceed today?
And I talked to Mr. Orozco yesterday regarding this, and I've tried to get information back from Mr. Sneed, but he's been busy in there. If I could have a breakout room with Mr. Sneed real quick.
Okay, Mr. Sneed, any objection?
No, thank you, Jim.
All right, so I'm gonna close off my breakdowns. The sign. Mr. Sneed and Ms. Van Duzen. And I'll be right back. You got a couple minutes, Jeff. Okay.
All rise.
You can sit down. All right. Mr. Daly? Hi, Mr. Daly.
Morning, Judge.
What
Sorry,
are
I'm so
you?
late.
What are you here on?
I'm not. I had it down for Danielle Teague. But
I don't have that one. Is it Judge Olsaver or me?
you both got it. She's got violations of probation. She's got a sentencing in your court. But Judge Olsaver didn't have it on his docket today either.
Becky, is Danielle Teague set for tomorrow or?
I don't see it. Let me look up the name. Judge, it looks like Judge Olsaver is sentencing on February 3rd at 8:15.
So February 3rd, Mr. Daly, and Judge Olsaver's.
I've got that, Judge. Thank you.
All right, good to see you, Mr. Daly.
Nice seeing you, Judge.
All right, Ms. Van Dusen and Mr. Sneed. Do you need what?
I'll need a breakout room with Mr. Orozco real quick. Yeah.
All right, so Mr. Orozco, I am going to open up a breakout room for you and Miss Van Dusen.
Thank you, ma'am.
Not a problem.
Judge, do you have Jennifer Webb down for today?
Jennifer who?
Webb?
No.
Okay, I'll figure it out. All right.
All right.
Thanks.
Thanks. Bye. Becky, if you have stuff you want me to sign, you can bring it in to me.
Alrighty.
I think there's a stack on my desk too. So I don't have counsel, anybody who's not in jail, and I think I'm operating on one window today from the jail, so. All right, Rhonda, where's the dog?
You can't have that. No, no.
Show us the dog.
He says, Mom, I think I'm going to have whatever I want to have.
That dog is spoiled rotten.
Is that the one she purloined?
That's one of the rescue dogs. All right, I'll bring Mr. Orozco back.
Just a minute, Judge. There's no clients or anything, is there?
Well, I've got people in the courtroom.
Okay, I'll call Mr. Sneed real quick.
Okay, go ahead and mute yourself. All right, Ms. Underwood, where's the dog?
Silent.
I want to see the dog.
Judge, you're still live on YouTube.
I know, it's a dog. Oh. Aw. At least your dog's well behaved. Mine snores like a 400-pound man next to me
Yeah.
when I'm zooming, so. Very nice dog. All right.
Your Honor, Mr. Sneed's in, must be another conference or something.
He did step away for a second.
Yeah.
So Ms. Van Duzen and Mr. Sneed, have you had a moment to communicate?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, what do you want me to do?
We're gonna plead.
Okay, let me get a spot. Let me bring him back. I think he's still in my purgatory here. There it is.
Judge, is this on Mr. Orozco?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's a rather lengthy plea, so if you would give me a moment, I can email it to the court.
Well, you know, for my purposes, I'll just call it, I'll walk through it with you. All right. Okay. So we are back on the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Joel Orozco. So Ms. Van Duzen, it's my understanding a plea agreement has been proffered and your client's going to enter into it, correct?
That is correct, Your Honor. Just
So
for his
Ms.
information.
Because there's so many files, I'm gonna go through it my way just because I gotta keep track of it, otherwise I'll screw it up. So on file number 21-20645FH, Mr. Sneed, what will be happening on that file?
Mr. Orozco will be pleading guilty to an added count to interfering with a police investigation. It's under MCL .483 A4A. It's a 1-year misdemeanor.
Okay, so it's a 1-year misdemeanor. So he's going to plead to count 2, interfering with a police investigation, which carries maximum penalty of up to 1 year in jail. Count 1 will be dismissed along with any subs, correct?
Correct.
All right, so let's move on to file number 22-21150FH.
Your Honor, he'll be pleading guilty as charged to count 1 and count 2.
Are there any other counts?
No, I don't believe so.
And then any subs would be dismissed, correct?
Correct.
All right, 22-21151FH.
Mr. Orozco will be pleading guilty as charged to count 1. And the subs would be dismissed.
Okay, and then file number 22-21187FH.
Mr. Orozco will be pleading guilty to an added count 2, interfering with a police investigation. Also 1-year misdemeanor.
And then count 1 and the subs dismissed.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, and what about file number 23-21209FH?
He'll be pleading guilty as charged to count 1, the 4-year felony, and the subs will be dismissed.
Does that sound right, Ms. Van Duzen?
It is, Your Honor.
Is there any other agreement with regard to this file, these files?
No, Your Honor, the only, Mr. Steed has stated that he has no issue with, or no objection to Mr. Orozco being, sent to a inpatient, rehab when a bed becomes available. And also I've reached out to Ms. Teskey to also see if he would like drug court in this matter.
Okay, so you've asked for him to be screened for drug court?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, and he may be released to an inpatient facility if a bed is available.
Right, CMH, I've already had contact with them, and they have already interviewed him for an inpatient, and they have a bed for him.
All right, and that would be done through Darren Coast, so CMH would have to work with Darren Coast for that, because Darren Coast can always get beds for people. All right, so Mr. Orozco, do you want to raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can put your hand down. Can you state your full name for the record?
Joel Jesus Orozco.
All right, now you have heard the statement of your attorney and the prosecuting attorney. So on the following files, will it be your intention to plead guilty? And I'm going to list them. On file number 21-20645FH, will you be pleading guilty to count 2, interfering with the police investigation? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
And on file number 22-21150FH, will you be pleading guilty to count 1 and count 2 on those files?
Yes, ma'am.
And then on file number 22-21151FH, will you be pleading guilty? Well, let's go back. So on file number 22-21150FH, the count 1 is assaulting, resisting, and obstructing a police officer, which carries a maximum penalty of up to 2 years in prison, as does count 2. So you understand the maximum penalty on that file for both counts will be up to 2 years in prison. And is it your intention to plead guilty on that file?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so move on to 22-21151FH. Is it your intention on that file to plead guilty to count 1, police officer assaulting, resisting, and obstructing, which carries a maximum penalty of up to 2 years in prison?
Yes, ma'am. Total is only 2 R&Os, right, ma'am? No.
Well, there's 1 R&O on file number 22-21151, and that's October 19 date in Madison Township. And then on file number 22-21150FH, There are 2 R&Os on that file.
And am I pleading guilty to one each or?
2 on one file and 1 on the other file.
All right. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then on file number 22-211887FH, is it your intention to plead guilty to count 2, which would be interfering with the police investigation, which carries a maximum penalty of up to 1 year in jail? On that one, is it your intention to plead guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then the last file is file number 23-21209FH. And on that file, is it your intention to plead guilty to count 1, trespass upon key facility, which carries a maximum penalty of up to 4 years in prison? Is it your intention to plead guilty on that one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now you understand, Mr. Orozco, as part of this plea, your habitual offender 4th offense notice is being dismissed. Do you understand that as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so neither, other than a bed becoming available and being released to an inpatient facility, neither the prosecutor, the defendant, nor anyone on the defendant's behalf has discussed a possible sentence. I am so sorry, with the court. Is that correct, Mr. Sneed?
That is correct, Your Honor. Thank you.
Ms. Van Duzen?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Is that correct as far as you're aware, Mr. Orozco?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, sir, if a guilty plea is accepted on all these files, there will be no trial. This means that you will be giving up rights you would have had at trial. I'm going to explain those rights to you now to make sure that you understand them. You have a right to a speedy public trial by jury. You may ask for a non-jury trial, and if the prosecutor and court agree, you can have a non-jury trial. You have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to have the prosecuting attorney prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you are guilty, and you do not have to prove anything. You have the right to be present at trial and have your witnesses against you appear at your trial and ask those witnesses questions. You have the right to have the court order any witnesses you have for your defense to appear at the trial. You have the right to remain silent during your trial and not to have your silence used against you. However, you also have the right to testify at your trial if you want to testify. Got it. Sir, do you understand that if your plea is accepted, you may be giving up the right to appeal issues that would otherwise be appealable if you were convicted at trial? Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that any appeal from the conviction and sentence pursuant to the plea will be by application for leave to appeal and not by right? Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
If you are not a citizen of the United States of America, a conviction of a crime may result in deportation, exclusion from admission to the United States of America, or denial of naturalization. Do you have any questions about the rights that I've given to you?
No, ma'am.
So, Mr. Orozco, because we've got so many files, I'm going to pause right here and I'm going to go to another case for 2 seconds and then I'll be back with you. All right?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Goldstein.
Yes, Your Honor.
So Mr. Hawkins was here and I realized I was not able to take your case because I had a delay, and I do apologize for that. He was here and his grandmother was waiting for him. And he did say to the court that he was just going to be getting a pretrial and a trial date today through you. So I told him he could leave. Is that all right with you, Mr. Goldstein?
That's fine, Your Honor. I have no problem with that.
All right. So we had our final pretrial for today. Do you want another pretrial or you want a trial date?
Are you talking about Mr. Hawkins or are you talking about Mr. Crystal? Because one of the
We're
reasons.
going to do Crystal. We're going to do Hawkins.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we just need a final pretrial and a trial date, Your Honor.
Okay. So I'm going to find another day. You're already here. So give me just a second for a trial. I might back it up. Give me just a second, Miss Van Duzen. Sorry. Usually every page I always find your travels. And now I can't find one of your travels. So I was just gonna back it up to one of your other ones. You're on Victor Mendoza, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
How about if and you're on James Smith. 2 dash,
Correct.
do you mind if I back it up to those two? Unless you think they're absolutely going.
Your Honor, with my schedule, the way things are, I don't know that either one are going. Backing up to Smith might make more sense than Mendoza.
Well, Smith is backed up to Mendoza.
Yeah, well, and the problem is, you start trials not on Monday. Other courts start trials on Monday, and I never know if I'm going to be in trial or not. And I think I've got a trial that same Monday in another court. What is that date, Your Honor?
I know, we're small. That trial's going. That's because other courts have like just a criminal docket.
Well, it's not only that, Judge, but most other courts start trials on Monday.
Right, but that's our civil docket.
Right, exactly. And so.
How about July 18th?
All right, let me check. Yeah, that'd be fine.
Perfect. How many days?
2.
All right, 2 days. And then I will set another pretrial. I will set a July 5 pretrial.
Okay.
And then I'm going to require all motions, voir dire, and jury instructions be done by that time. So July 5 of 23. So the pretrial will be at 8:30. The trial will be at 9 for 2 days.
I'm sorry, 17th. Is that 17th and 18th, Your Honor? Is that what you said?
18th.
18th and 19th?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right. Sorry about that, Mr. Goldstein.
That's okay, Your Honor. The other thing is we did want to have a brief cops conference on Mr. Crystal. I can wait and come back closer to 12 if you'd prefer.
Or do you want to come back at 1:30? I've got like 7 people lined up at the
Okay,
jail.
one, is that okay with you, Mr. Sneed?
Yeah, that's fine.
Can we say?
And I apologize.
Okay, 1:30 we fine.
Okay, I just have a bunch of people from the jail I'm still waiting on. Thank you.
Not a problem.
Thank you. All right. So, Mr. Orozco.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, do you have any questions about the rights that I've given to you?
No, ma'am.
All right, so I'm gonna go through each of the files again, okay?
Yes,
So-
ma'am. I'm sorry for that. It's a lot to go. It's going.
No, we had some delays this morning. It's not your fault.
No, I know, but I'm
Not your
sorry
fault
that.
at all. Don't worry
A lot
about
of
it.
paperwork
So,
going through.
not a problem. All right, so Mr. Orozco, we're gonna start with file number 21-20645FH. Mr. Orozco, on that file, how do you wish to plead to the charge that, and it would be a count 2, on August 21 of 2021 in the city of Adrian in the county of Lenawee, that you did commit the offense of interfering with the police investigation, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
All right, and then on file number 22-21150FH, Mr. Orozco, how do you wish to plead to the charge that on or about October 22nd of 2022 in the city of Adrian in the county of Lenawee, that you did commit the offense of count 1 of police officer assaulting, resisting, and obstructing Officer Nieto? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
And then on that same day and venue, how do you plead to count 2 that you did commit the offense of police officer assaulting, resisting, and obstructing against Sergeant Adams? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
All right, so let's move on to file number 22-21151FH. Mr. Orozco, how do you wish to plead to the charge that on or about October 19th of 2022 in Madison Township in the county of Lenawee, that you did commit the offense of police officer assaulting, resisting, and obstructing Officer Ritchie with Madison Township. Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
All right. And then on file number 22-21187FH, Mr. Orozco, how do you wish to plead to the charge that on or about November 6th of 2022 in the city of Adrian in the county of Lenawee, that you did commit the offense of count 2, interfering with the police investigation? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Right. And the last file, file number 2023-21209FH, how do you wish to plead to the charge that on or about October 22nd of 2022 in the city of Adrian in the county of Lenawee, that you did commit the offense of trespass upon key facility? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Orozco, has anyone made any threats or promises to you to induce you to plead guilty to any of these charges?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand that if I accept this plea, you will be giving up any and all claims that your plea is given as a result of promises or threats that were not disclosed to the court on the record during this hearing, or that it was not your own choice to enter the plea? Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Is the prosecutor or defense counsel aware of any promises or threats or inducements other than the plea bargain to induce the defendant to plead guilty? Mr. Sneed?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Van Duzen?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Orozco, other than we talked about a bed at an inpatient facility, other than that, has your attorney promised you any particular sentence or estimated what your sentence will be?
No, ma'am.
All right. Is it your own choice to plead guilty on these facts?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so we're going to start back with file number 21-20645FH. So Mr. Orozco, on that day, on August 21 of 2021, were you in the city of Adrian in the county of Lenawee?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you come in contact with an officer, Marilat?
Yes, ma'am.
And at that time, did you give her a false name?
Yes, ma'am. I did.
Okay. And did she stop you for questioning, pull you over?
Stop me for questioning, I believe.
Okay. And you gave her a false name. Whose name did you give her?
I gave her my brother's name.
Okay. All right. And all right. Are you satisfied with that, Mr. Sneed?
I am, Your Honor.
All right. So Mr. Orozco, on file number 22-21150FH, were you on October 22nd of 2022 in the city of Adrian in the county of Lenawee?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, at that time, you came in contact with an officer Nieto and a Sergeant Adams with the Adrian Police Department. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, did they pull you over, stop you? Were they trying to arrest you?
I believe they were trying to arrest me because I had contempt of court and I was just running from them.
Okay, so you knew they were Adrian police officers, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Were they wearing a uniform and driving a squad car?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and they called out to you and told you to stop, or they tried to put you in the car?
They told me to stop and I kept running.
Okay, so they gave you direction to stop and you kept running.
Yes, ma'am.
Did they catch you?
Yeah, they did. Like later.
All right, are you satisfied, Mr. Sneed?
Yes, Judge. Thank you.
And would you agree those both officers, were they chasing you?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's move on to file number 22-21151FH. So Mr. Orozco, on October 19th of 2022, were you in the city of or Madison Township in the county of Lenawee?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, did you come in contact with a police officer from the Madison Township Police named Officer Ritchie?
I I don't know his name, to be honest, but it was a police.
Okay. Did you know he was a police officer?
Yes, ma'am. I seen the cop car.
Okay, and he was wearing a uniform?
Yes, ma'am.
And the information in the police report identify him as Officer Ritchie. Would you disagree with that?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so he tried to stop you and take you into custody?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you run from him too?
Yes, ma'am. He
right.
did lights for me to stop where I was at. I was walking and I just kept running. I just took off running.
Okay, all right. Mr. Sneed, are you satisfied on that one?
Yes, Judge.
All right, and Mr. Orozco, let's move on to 22-21187FH. So Mr. Orozco, on November 6th of 2022, we're in the city of Adrian in the county of Lenawee.
Yes, ma'am.
And that date and time you came in contact with the state trooper, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, really good posture, drives a blue vehicle, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, now, did he stop you to talk to him?
Yep.
All right, and did he ask your name?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you give him a false name?
Yes, ma'am.
Whose name did you give him?
I just gave him my middle name and my mom's my maiden name as my last name.
Okay, all right. And because you wanted to avoid being arrested, is that right? Because you knew you had warrants?
Yes, ma'am.
Did he arrest you anyway?
Yeah, he asked me again and I confessed to who I was. I came openly, I told him who I really was. I told him I was sorry and I just wanted to get it over.
All right, so let's move on to the next file, 23-21209FH. Mr. Orozco, on October 22nd of 2022, were you in the city of Adrian in the county of Lenawee?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I've never seen this statute before. So, Mr. Steen, where is this facility? And what, like, I understand it's a key facility where people aren't supposed to go, but what building was it? What building was this? Anybody know?
I do.
The water tower.
Oh, it was the water tower?
Yeah, the water plant.
It was, Your Honor, it was 815 Ben Oak Avenue. It's the water treatment plant.
Okay, I know where that's at. All right, so Mr. Orozco, on that day, did you go to where that water treatment facility is, the tower?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and did you enter it
No,
somehow?
I got on top of the building and I was just ran through I ran across the building, slid off the building and jumped the fence.
Okay, and would you agree that it was a locked facility? It had a fence and it said no trespass and you still went in there?
I didn't know at the time, but I know it is now. I understand it is a key facility because it's a big thing. I wasn't thinking at the time, but I understand and I take responsibility of it.
And you weren't thinking because you were running from a cop?
What's that, ma'am?
Were you running from a police officer at this time too, or just running across the building?
It was the time with Miss Nieto and
Okay, so, all right, so you're running and you would agree that the reasonable person would look at that building and realize you're not allowed to access it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Steen?
I just asked if he intended to enter onto that premises when he was running from the police.
When you were running, you entered that property while you were running, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm satisfied.
All right, so with regard to all of the charges and files and counts, has the court complied with MCR 6.302 B, C, and D? Mr. Steen?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Duzen?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I accept the pleas. They've been given understandably, voluntarily, and accurately. The defendant has full knowledge of his rights. He does have competent counsel. This court has made no agreement regarding the possibility of a plea or possible sentence in this case with the prosecutor, the defense attorney, the defendant, or anyone acting in the interest of either of them. I'm going to refer this matter to the probation department for a pre-sentence investigation. I'm going to set them for sentencing on March 17. Right, March 17. at 8:15 in the morning. Now, Mr. Orozco, I'm going to put you in a breakout room with, well, you're in custody. So Mr. Moore, here's my issue. I need to get other people moving through the jail. Mr. Orozco may or may not be released from the jail, so I'm going to give him instructions, but he's going to be going to a rehab facility, and Mr. Coast will be handling that. So Mr. Coast would have his contact information.
Okay.
So Mr. Orozco, either while you're in jail or when you're at the rehab facility, somehow someone from the Michigan Department of Corrections is going to get a hold of you. Okay. When you meet with them, be truthful about your background, be truthful about what happened on all these cases. They'll prepare a pre-sentence report. We'll get that to Ms. Van Duzen. She'll review it with you before sentencing, and we'll be all set. Now, evidently, there's arrangements been made to get you a bed at an inpatient facility. So Mr. Coast is our pretrial services coordinator. So Ms. Van Duzen, whoever you have dealing with that needs to reach out to Mr. Coast, because he'll facilitate the paperwork to get him released from the jail. So I will allow you to be released from the jail to an inpatient facility. But Mr. Orozco, you can't leave that facility, because if you leave, I'm going to issue a bench warrant against you, and you could be charged with absconding, which will be another felony, which will stack on all these other felonies, which probably could potentially stack on each other. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am. I apologize for everything, and I appreciate you.
We're not here for sentencing, Mr. Orozco. I understand that.
I appreciate you giving me that opportunity. I won't let you down. I promise.
All right. So you cannot leave that facility if you go to
I will
work. You
not.
understand?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we'll see you back here for sentencing on March 17th of 2023 at 8:15 in the morning. So you're all set, Mr. Orozco. Good luck to you.
Ma'am, do I also have a contempt of court?
I'm going to set that over to sentencing. All right.
Will I still get a PR bond for that to go?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye, Mr. Orozco.
Bye.
Your Honor, the one that I put over till 11 o'clock, Marla busing, can we move that to like
1:30?
Yeah, 1:30 be better. Yep.
Okay.
Then I think I'm done.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Becky. I got people sitting in the courtroom who've been here since 8 for Elliott, right? On Anderson, Caleb Anderson. And then I got Miss Brenner, who's been here all morning for, oh, that's Elliott. Becky, I'm going to move Brandy Bevere to 132.
Okay.
Is Gonzalez a violation of probation too?
Your Honor,
Yes, ma'am.
do we have the probation person available on Gonzalez for me to talk to?
Who's, I don't know. I don't have him on Zoom. Unless it's, the only person I have is Tom Moore. And let me see.
He's on with Teskey because I think he was in drug court, but I mean, I've wrote a pre on him before and supervised him.
Rhonda, I'm probably gonna have to bring him back at 1:30.
All right.
And are you available at 1:30? Because I have the other pickup at 1:32. I'm running out of time.
That's fine, Your Honor.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any other ones? I don't have you for anything else. So
I don't think I do.
I just have Miss Van Duzen and Mr. Malaro. So
Yeah.
and Brian Fry. Always for Brian Fry. So All right, I'll
Thank
see you
you.
at 1:30, Rhonda.
Thank you.
Judge, I have a hearing at 1 in a different county, but I could come back if you need me to this afternoon. I don't
Well,
know.
I'd like to try to get this one done, so maybe
Okay.
you gotta be. I don't know.
That's fine. I'm hanging out. I just didn't know if it would work better for your schedule.
Who is that for, Judge? So I can,
Elliott.
Elliot, okay.
Can you see if, Marley Bussing is in the hallway?
She was there, yeah.
Yeah,
Wouldn't want to tell her, you want to bring back in? Or
no, we'll do her at 1:30.
just tell her to come back at 1:30?
I think that's the one we're set over to 1:30. Becky, or somebody, I don't, I still have Christina Morgan, which is Miss Van Duzen's. So I don't know where Miss Van Duzen went.
I have that you adjourn that to February 8th.
Okay. So that leaves 4 people from,
She's not in the hallway.
okay, 3 people from the gym.
Oh.
Becky, I've signed everything if you want it. Elliott, are they? Hi, can I ask your name, please? From the jail, what is your name?
Jeff.
Okay, and Miss Adams, could you let the jail know that I want Mr. Anderson next? All right, grab your file, Mr. Elliott. All right, this is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Jeffrey Allen Elliott. We have 3 files, 21-20212 FH, 23-21199 FH, and 23-21200 FH. I have Isaac Sneed appearing on 2 of the files, but I do 21-20212 and 23-21199. And I have Sarah Brenner appearing from the Attorney General's office on 23-21200 FH. So, Mr. Malaro, how would you like to proceed today?
Judges, in talking to Ms. Brenner, I need to nail something down with Mr. Elliott real quick. If I could have a breakout, please.
I have to leave in 10 minutes, so I can do that, but to be honest, if you want another date or if he's gonna plead, I have to be gone. I have a 12 o'clock meeting.
Okay.
So I'll give you that breakout room. Maybe. Is he gonna plead, you think? Because I may just have to set it over to 1:30.
Yeah, we were anticipating a plea, but I need to, after talking to Ms. Brenner, I need to talk with him about it.
All right, so
I
I'm
can
gonna
talk
give
to
you a
him
breakout
now
room.
and then come back at 1:30, Judge. That'd be fine.
Okay. So I'm gonna open up that breakout room.
That's good for the people.